Rose Design, and today I'm going to go over what a design aesthetic is. So if you guys are new to interior design or interior decor as a whole, I would really recommend checking out my design styles video. I'll put a link to that in the space below so you guys can check that out. I wanted to talk about the difference between a design style and a design aesthetic, and why I think a design aesthetic is way more important. So basically, when you're thinking about design styles in regards to your environment, there's just so many rules, you know? Like, I think it's overwhelming for a lot of people just starting out, looking at what's out on the internet and in design magazines and all of the famous interior designers. It's like, how am I supposed to figure out what's cool on one hand and like what I actually like on the other hand? So design styles, again, are kind of descriptions of rules and groupings of furniture and pieces that, when put together, give you a certain vibe. So yeah, if you guys are interested in learning the difference between a lot of the popular design styles right now, check out that video. But this video is where I'm gonna show you how to figure out your design aesthetic. So where your design style is like closed and there's rules of, for example, like how a mid-century modern room is gonna show up and the pieces that you're supposed to use to get that vibe in your space. A design aesthetic is completely actually informed by you and what you like. So it can be kind of overwhelming, I think, for someone just starting out, because you're like, okay, well, what if I did figure out what my design style is, and now you're telling me that there's like this whole other thing that is actually more important. And as a designer myself, I just want to illustrate that nothing is actually cool unless it's coming from within you. I think a lot of people give their power away in the design world because you get, just like every other industry, you get inundated with messages like, you're not good enough, you don't know what's cool, what's cool is always changing, so good luck. You have to hire someone that knows what they're doing and can tell you what to do so that your room looks nice. It's like, really? Who's gonna know better than me? So I'm here to give you your power back as a designer, because it's really not about me and my aesthetic, it's about you and how you want your environment to look. So I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how to figure this out for yourself, and better yet, if you are working with a designer, like, actually collaborate with them and create a creative space for yourself. So since a design aesthetic's actually defined by you, how do you figure it out? I know design styles in regards to the internet are a little bit easier to figure out, because you're just, if you find where you fit in regards to all the rules, you can just search those things and more images are gonna pop up. With a design aesthetic, it is a little bit more involved. I recommend starting out with some of these tips. First, you just need to go inside yourself and figure out what you like is the main goal here. I would recommend just grabbing a piece of paper or a notebook and getting on the internet, of course. Another thing that's super helpful is getting physical design magazines when you start on this process. Also, this whole process is similar to like creating a vision board. I don't know if you guys have ever done that before or are familiar with that process. I wrote an article on my blog about how to create a vision board for yourself, and your design aesthetic is really gonna follow a lot of those same tenants. So if you wanna check that out, I'll leave that a link below too. It's a really similar process, except for this, we're gonna figure out what your actual design aesthetic is. So then get those magazines, get those Pinterest boards out, and expose yourself to rooms. Like, just look for rooms that you like, save them in folders, print them out, cut out things out of rooms that you like out of magazines, leave the magazine pages whole and just write all over them and say what you like and don't like. All of this is going to inform your design aesthetic. And when you're trying to figure out your design style, I think you just put yourself in a box of like, oh my gosh, am I doing this right? Like, what am I doing? Do I even know what this style is? Is it right? Or whatever, all of the things that we put on ourselves. And when going down the design aesthetic process, you just have one rule. Do you like it or don't you like it? And keep in mind, the rooms that you don't like are just as important as the rooms that you do like. So I would recommend like having either 2 folders of rooms on your desktop, like yes and no, or 2 like Pinterest boards where it's like, I really like this, I really don't like this. And then on your piece of paper in your notebook, record what you're looking at and write why you like things. For example, is it the paint that you like? Is it the fabric that you like? Is it the color of wood that you like? Try and separate out trying to be correct and actually just decide whether or not you like something or not. Is it the shape of the furniture? Is it the fact that you feel like you can entertain a lot of people in that space? Anything. There's really no rules here at all, and I know that that can sound really intimidating and overwhelming, but this is really, really important. If you actually want an environment that speaks to who you are, I highly recommend you go through this process. So what else can we look at? I don't want to limit you to just online spaces or just in decor magazines either. Think about that new restaurant that just got built that you love. Why do you love that? Think about your best friend's house. Why is her room so rad? Like, really ask yourself why you like what you like. And of course, since our main focus is your environment, the best place to start is just rooms in general, but that's not really where this ends. Your design aesthetic kind of also informs you, and things that you may not think are involved in this process, because you're like, oh, I'm just trying to design my room, so I need to look at a bunch of rooms, and when I figure out what kind of rooms I like, we're just gonna like do that and it'll be great. Your design aesthetic, just like an aesthetic in general, is informed by things like your morals and what you value, and things like your sense of fashion or what activities you engage in on a daily basis, or what activities you want to engage in your environment. All of these things should also be added to your list of yeses and nos. And it may seem disjointed at first. Like, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna look at my whole life and like figure out what I like and don't like. And it's like, yeah. Have you ever done that before? Has anyone allowed you to sit down and think about what you actually like and don't like and question that for yourself? This is the crux of what holistic interior design is all about, and the brand of design that I want to bring to the world, and understanding that this is about you guys. It's not about me. It's about your room. It's not about impressing anyone else. It's about your environment, and how is your environment going to best serve you. And so we need to know what lights you up first, and we need to care about that. So yeah, think about everything just think about everything. That's why this whole vision board process is also a good idea to start with. Another tip that you may not realize is, surprisingly, your social media feeds, like what you save and what you like, ends up surprisingly being a beautiful amalgamation of a lot of this stuff. So if you feel overwhelmed and you're like, Catherine, what the hell? Like, how am I supposed to like dig through everything that I like and figure it out? A really good place to start is on your different social media accounts. So I would recommend, I don't know, if you're a Pinterest user, awesome. Open up your whole feed. Don't limit yourself to just the rooms at this point, because yes, like that's a big step number one here, but at this point we're trying to inform how you want to live. So that's gonna include a lot of different things than just literally a room. You know what I mean? So open up your whole feeds and scroll through there. What patterns do you see over and over again? Do you have a color theme that you didn't realize that you liked? Like one of my really good friends, I can tell right now, is really attracted to warm colors, and it shows up in what she posts and what she's attracted to. And these are things I want you to realize for yourself. For me, for example, like when I opened up my Pinterest feed of just everything, dark blue was everywhere. Black was everywhere. High contrast, everything was everywhere. Painterly forms, handmade fabric, just crafts in general. These are things that I like and light me up, and I can say that because I've been doing this for a long time, like what my aesthetic actually is, but these are the things that inform your aesthetic. You know, designers aren't different from you. It's just that we've been given the license to think about these things. And so I want to give you the license to think about these things for yourself and have an informed dialogue either with yourself if you're designing your own space, or with your designer, like, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want to see. This is who I want to be. These are the activities I do. These are the activities I see other people do and I want to do. Instead of like living in this land where social media is like this BS space of non-reality, like we can create this for ourselves if we're honest with ourselves. What about this matters to us at all? What about this do we actually want to bring into our homes and live like? Especially when starting a new space, like what else are we going to think about? So yeah, think about and look at all of your social media feeds and things that you like. You're going to be surprised. It's kind of cool to open it up and be like, oh, that's obvious. Like I could have collected all of these things. You know, your designer is here to empower you as a creative person in your space. They shouldn't be here to impose their aesthetic on your space. Because even though it may be absolutely beautiful, like it's easy to make a beautiful room. What's not easy is to actually care about who you are, or if you're a designer, who your client is, and bring that life into the space so that they can have the life that they want. You know, if you got yourself some design magazines, awesome. Like grab yourself a Sharpie and just react. Just look at every single page and write to yourself why it's awesome and why you might like to live like that, or why you think it sucks, and especially why. Let's say you hate a room, whether it's on the internet or in a magazine, or anywhere. Why do you hate it? Why does it specifically suck for you? Why do you never want to live like that? Is it the plaid pillow that's freaking you out? Is it the fact that the walls are too dark? Is it because it just looks really cluttered? Like, write the feelings down. So I want you to make like a yes column on your piece of paper and a no column. And this can get really messy. Just feel it out and write either what you hate or what you love about these rooms. And again, like save them for yourself. Describe them in a way that makes sense to you and then write about it. These spaces don't just have to be like beautifully photographed spaces either. Like this can be your friend's house. This can be a kitchen you saw in your favorite movie. Why do you like it? You know? Or the new restaurant that just got built that unfortunately you can't go to yet. But why do you like it? Like, why is it so pretty to you? All of these things are going to start making sense. I know it's a little overwhelming to just like dive into the deep end and trying to figure it out for yourself, but I want to absolve you from the pain of like trying to fit yourself into a design style or a couple design styles, because you're probably not gonna. Thank God. Design styles are like a diet version of real design. Design in reality is informed by the people who live with it and work with it and do it from inside of themselves. It's still a creative endeavor. It's not something that you can pick out of a list of designers and you're like, oh, I like her aesthetic, great. I'm just gonna live like that. Because it's pretty and she has a lot of followers, so a lot of people think it's pretty, so must be good. What? Aren't you gonna live in this house? Doesn't it matter what you think about your own house, considering that you're the only one that's gonna live there? No one else cares. Trust me. This is supposed to be about you. And so I'm simultaneously handing you the keys and also the responsibility, because no one else is gonna care about your home environment as much as you are. And all you have to do is decide yes or no and why. You may or may not like something. So when you get good at this, you're going to start seeing patterns. And it's going to be really exciting. So you're like, I didn't know that was even a thing for me. And now that I know, like, it's kind of cool that I can have the power to bring that into my space. When you're thinking about these things that you don't maybe think inform your design aesthetic, like what activities you like, what your personal fashion sense is, what your values are, think about these things in terms of what they are, first of all, and put them in your yes and no columns, and also how they make you feel, because just like when you're reacting to the rooms bring up feelings for you. So do these other things outside of the world of design that still inform your design aesthetic. And these are feelings that you also want to have show up in your space, if they're positive for you. So yeah, just like when you react to the rooms, react to the things that you love and that you found in your feeds, and the things that you do in your daily life. Like, oftentimes I think we give our power over to a higher authority in regards to things, especially like design. So it's like, oh, well, obviously this girl knows what she's doing. But it's your life. You know what you're doing, and you need to have space for the things that light you up in your environment. So if anything that you do on a daily basis is really important to you and it's something that you want to engage in your home, whether it shows up in that specific space you're thinking about or not, it doesn't matter, because it matters how you're thinking about your home holistically. So the things that are important to you need to show up somewhere. It's important to capture what those things are. Like for me, for example, like I love to entertain and I love to have things accessible for me, so I can like pull out a board for cheese, so I can pull out the wine out of the fridge and like throw down a nice cheese board without thinking about it. And it's those things that you don't think matter in regards to the interior design of your house, but actually those are the things that matter the most. So write down what you like to do, write down how you want to live, and make sure that those are showing up in your columns as well. And just react. Like don't think that you're doing it right or wrong, because there is no such thing. Trust me. There's no such thing between a rightly designed space and a wrongly designed space. It's made up, which is exactly the beauty in it. You're the creative here. You and what's inside of you informs your environment. And so I want your environment to inform the best things about you and allow you the space to live those best things. So yeah, anytime there's a heavy feeling, whether it's in your yes column, awesome, this is how I want to feel and live in my life, or in the no column, like this space makes me feel heavy and closed in, for example, or anything at all, write that down. What I don't think people realize when they engage with a process like this, whether it's a vision board or trying to figure out what your design aesthetic is by looking at the things that you love and you don't love, is when you love something, it's because it resonates with who you are on a deeper level, and sometimes who you want to be on a deeper level. And when you dislike something, it's the opposite. So the guiding light that you have within yourself is so much more powerful than handing over your creative reins of your environment to someone who is trained and knows what's cute. True creativity begins within you. So keep doing it. So let's say this whole design aesthetic thing resonates with you and you decide to go through this process. You're going to get to the point where you realize that you've written your own rules. Just like design styles have written their rules of how things are supposed to show up, you unwittingly have written your rules for you. In your yes column, you have things that are exciting to you and are pretty to you and evoke feelings that you want to feel in your environment. And in your no column, clear rules on what shouldn't be showing up, why they shouldn't be showing up, and the feelings that you don't want to feel. So you're empowered. You had it within you the whole time, as Glinda the Good Witch says. It's you, you know? I don't know, I find this really fun and exciting, and I have a lot of these kind of activities, but this one obviously makes the most sense in regards to my career. So let me know if you guys decide to engage with this. If you found it tricky, or if you need any help, you can find me at catherinerosedesign.com. I'll drop my website down there. If you want to chat on here, that's great. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me. If you guys like these videos, please subscribe. I'm going to continue to write more articles about things that involve holistic interior design, personality psychology, because it's fun, and just design tips in general going forward. And yeah, I would love for you guys to connect with me, so hit me up.